I rise today, as I have been every day, to urge my colleagues to work with me, to work with you, to extend the production tax credit for wind. The PTC, as it's known, has broad economic effects, positive effects all across our great country. And I'm going to talk today, as I have, about a state, an individual state I talk about every day, that is known for its wind resources, and that's the great state of Kansas. Kansas is already known as a national leader in both wind manufacturing and production. In fact, Kansas has the most wind projects under construction as we sit here today, and is on track to almost double their installed wind energy capacity. You can see from the map here of Kansas that there's a lot of activity. For example, there is construction currently underway in what will be the largest wind farm in Kansas, which is located just southwest of Wichita, which is in south-central Kansas. The Flat Ridge 2 wind farm will cover about 66,000 acres, and it should be up and running by the end of the year. The two companies running the project, BP Energy and Sempra U.S. Gas and Power, have invested over $800 million and employed 500 construction workers. Those are impressive numbers wherever you might find them. But that's not all, Mr. President, because once the project is done and operating, the local communities should receive over $1 million annually in tax payments from the project, and there are some 200 property owners who own the land under the turbines, and they will receive a similar amount in royalty payments. That's real money. That's for real Americans, all thanks to wind energy and the production tax credit. These are jobs and investments, Mr. President, that are created here at home, and they create good-paying jobs in Kansas. They help the local economy, and they provide critical income to rural communities. And I have to say this is especially important as the drought takes a steep toll on farmers across the Midwest this year. Wind power, if you think about it, Mr. President, it's a cash crop that always ripens and always returns on the investment in the marketplace. And this is just one project in Kansas that isn't even completed yet. So I want to talk about the overall effect of wind energy in Kansas. The wind energy industry in Kansas, it supports 3,000 jobs. It results in $3.7 million in property taxes from wind projects that go to local communities. And 8% of Kansas power comes from wind. Those are impressive numbers. They would only grow as Kansas invests. There are thousands of Kansas wind energy jobs supporting millions of dollars of local tax revenue, and as I pointed out here, over almost 1/10 of Kansas' total power needs. This harnessing of the wind has truly become an economic driver, and it presents enormous opportunity for this important Midwestern state. And I want to focus on one county, Mr. President. Lane County is headed up their economic development operation by Dan Hartman. And he moved to western Kansas 5 years ago, in large part because he wanted to live in the heart of rural America. But he also wanted to help create a better, more secure energy future for America, with Kansas playing a central role. And since then, Dan has been working with counties, farmers, landowners to bring as much wind energy as possible to western Kansas. And those possibilities are, I think, almost unlimited, because there's enough potential wind power in Kansas to meet the needs of Kansas some 90 times over. Mr. President, that brings me to the point that I want to make today, and that's why I keep coming to the floor. The uncertainty that we've created, unfortunately, by failing to extend the wind production tax credit has sidelined roughly $3.5 billion in wind energy investments, and that just defies common sense. Back home in my state of Colorado, I keep hearing from my fellow Coloradans, why the heck aren't you in Congress working to save wind energy jobs right now? And to Dan Hartman, the solution seems simple, and I want to quote him. He said, "I look at the wind energy industry as a matter of survival and our future in Kansas. If we don't extend the PTC, we're throwing away our future. We need it badly. If you really look at the money, the PTC cost is dwarfed by the capital investment it encourages." Dan has put it right, and we should listen here in the Congress. Mr. President, if we refuse to develop our wind energy resources, there are a lot of countries that are willing to outcompete us. Take China, for example. We have to work to keep these jobs and that investment here in the United States. And that's why the Congress must extend the production tax credit as soon as possible. Mr. President, you also know we have bipartisan support. This isn't a Republican or a Democratic issue solely. And Senator Moran from Kansas, my good friend, has joined me and others to make this happen. We've offered an amendment to the bipartisan small business lending bill that would extend the PTC by 2 years until the end of 2014. So we need the PTC. It equals jobs. We need to pass it as soon as possible. I want to ask my colleagues again, as I have every day, to join Senator Moran, join Senator Udall from New Mexico, join Senator Thune and others to help pass this much-needed common sense bipartisan amendment, or find another way to extend the PTC to ensure that more investment and more jobs in states like Kansas, Colorado, and all across our country will be the result.